Michelle Newby, our Vice President, is going to introduce our next presentation.
Hello, sisters and brothers. The end is near, so hang in there. As a first responder and a healthcare provider myself, it is my pleasure and honor today to introduce our next speaker, Julia Scott. Ms. Scott has been a registered nurse for 15 years, graduating from nursing school in the United Kingdom. She began her career working as a GYN nurse and then changed her specialty to ICU nursing, also working for 3 years as a neonatal ICU nurse. She was an active member of the Royal College of Nursing, the UK's largest and most vocal nursing union, from the time she left nursing school in 1996 until she arrived in the US in 2003. She became active with the National Nursing Organizing Committee of Florida in 2010, when she helped to successfully organize a union in her workplace here in Florida. The NNOC is a national union and professional organization for registered nurses, advanced practice nurses, and RN organizations, and they are proud to be an affiliate member of the National Nurses United, who have organized in several states. Coming from a strong union background in the UK, Julia was a strong and vocal leader in her campaign and was elected a nurse representative steward as soon as the vote passed, and then was elected to her facilities negotiating team. She is a passionate advocate for nurses and patients who has lobbied with other nurses from across the state at the Capitol in Tallahassee for safe nurse-to-patient ratios. Please give a warm CLUW welcome to Julia Scott.
As you know, I'm Julia Scott. I'm a registered nurse from Lago, Florida, just 100 miles from where we're standing right now. And as of 2 hours ago, your newest CLUW member.
You don't want to get up closer? Are you able to get a look? I'm trying to get the video right now.
I was born and grew up in the United Kingdom, where I started my nursing career, and I moved to the US in 2003. The job of a nurse is essentially the same in both countries. But when I started nursing here in the United States, I could not believe the amount of disrespect I received from my employer. And not just one employer, all 4 of them. The only other major difference between nursing in the UK and the US, UK nurses are unionized. And not some of them, all of them. They have a very strong and very vocal national union, the Royal College of Nursing. And thanks to National Nurses United and the National Nurses Organizing Committee, America's nurses are no longer going to be left behind. The other difference between the UK and the US, the UK has universal healthcare. Here's a concept. How about healthcare based on your medical need and not your ability to pay? In 2010, while working here in Florida, the NNOC arrived at my hospital to start an organizing drive. By the end of the campaign, the nurses in my hospital voted by 69% to unionize. And ours was just one of 7 elections that took place at the end of last year, with all 7 hospitals voting to unionize. The NNU now has 170,000 nursing members throughout the entire United States. They have successfully unionized 11 Florida hospitals. They started off as the California Nurses Association. And thanks to those trailblazers, I send out my heartfelt thanks to those guys, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be currently standing here as a unionized nurse. Shortly after the unionization vote, I was elected onto the negotiating committee and have now been involved in negotiating the contract since March. In fact, we are currently in a fight for contracts in 17 hospitals nationwide, 11 in Florida, 5 in Texas, both right-to-work states. We have been very vocal about the issues that bedside nurses face every day. It is great to watch our managers squirm in their seats when we talk about patients suffering because of poor staffing, lack of education, and poor morale caused by the disrespect to those nurses. I always say to those managers, a hospital without nurses is a hotel with bad food. Nursing is predominantly a female profession, and as such, has historically been downtrodden. But with the NNU and the NNOC behind us, the mama bear instinct is coming out loud and strong, and nurses will no longer stay quiet when they see their patients negatively affected by hospital bureaucracy. Since becoming a nurse rep and a negotiator, I have gone from being an insignificant ICU nurse to a nurse everyone knows and respects, and my confidence has grown in my new role. I used to be intimidated by my manager. I now walk into her office with my head held high, feeling ready for battle, and it is her that's apprehensive to see me. I have become a very outspoken nurse and feel empowered to change things in the hospital. I regularly represent nurses during disciplinary meetings and ensure unjust disciplines are challenged. I feel a great sense of duty to my fellow nurses, and that pushes me to be more direct and forthright in my dealings with management on their behalf. We as nurses now enjoy increasing power in the workplace and have managed to have unjust disciplines reversed or reduced, and have even taken some issues to arbitration and won. The hospital has now been forced to recognise us and deal with us. The nurses feel they have some recourse against unjust actions and feel they have someone on their side standing up for their rights. Florida's unionised nurses have also had the courage to take their fight for safe patient care all the way to Tallahassee, and a governor you may have heard of, Governor Rick Scott's office. Earlier this year, we marched on the state capitol to gain support for a bill to limit nurse-patient ratios. What that means is it will limit the amount of patients each nurse is charged with caring for. Research shows that for every patient over 4 a nurse is forced to care for, each one of those patients has a 7% higher mortality. I was in the group assigned to deliver 3,000 pledge cards to the governor from Florida citizens. On our way into the Capitol building, we happened to spot our governor in a function on the Capitol steps. We patiently waited for him to finish, and then we chased him down. Above the TV cameras that were interviewing him, you could hear the chants of, "Governor, Governor, the Florida nurses are here. We want to talk to you about safe patient care." As expected, he ignored us and walked into the Capitol building. Unperturbed, we then went to his office to deliver the pledge cards with his secretary. We said to him, "Hey, we just saw the governor on the steps. He invited us round." He said, "Come on back. Come and see me." Unfortunately, by the time we got there, he was far too busy to see us. But he got our message.